Good job. So it went to a 6,
I
right?
went to a 6.
So why don't we just continue on with that? And what I want you guys to do is to tap along, and if there's something that you're feeling anxious about that's a little different, just fill in the blanks with whatever you're feeling. And I'm gonna come around and check on you to see if there's any, just like we've been doing, just to check to see what you're experiencing. And the goal is to have some borrowing benefits, but don't feel put on the spot that you have to. But so cool. Thank you very much for coming up and being a volunteer. And so that you were feeling nervous and that you're going to do something wrong. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that happens to be one that I've worked on for myself a lot. So I hear you.
Yeah.
And has anybody else ever felt anything about doing something wrong? See, so it's very common. We're all doing that. And so let's just keep doing this and do a little bit more around that, and we'll see what pops up. Okay? Okay, excellent. And so I don't want to put you on the spot, but I love the idea of being able to watch her in this process. So, okay, good. You know, he knows what he's doing. I have to control this. How bad? Even though I control everything. Or I try to control. Okay. Whew. Okay. So even though I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong,
even though I feel like I'm going to do something wrong,
and that's okay.
that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel.
I completely accept how I feel.
Even though I feel like
I'm
going to do something wrong,
I'm going to do something wrong,
and that's okay.
and that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel.
I completely accept how I feel,
Even though
even though
I feel like
I feel like
I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong,
I'm going to feel like I'm going to do something wrong,
and that's okay.
and that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel.
I completely accept how I feel.
Good job. I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm afraid I'm going to do something
I'm
wrong.
sorry, I'm not saying the places again. The side of your eye. I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
Under your eye, I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
Under your nose, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
On your chin, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
On your collarbone, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something
I'm
wrong.
so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
Under your arm, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
On top of your head, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
On your eyebrow, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong.
I'm so afraid I'm going to do something wrong because
I'm so afraid that I'm going to do something wrong because be a failure.
you're doing great. I might be a failure.
And I might be a failure.
I might be a failure.
And I might be a failure.
I'm so afraid I might be a failure.
I'm so afraid that I might be a failure.
I might be a failure.
I might be a failure.
And I'm so afraid of being a failure.
And I'm so afraid of being a failure.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I'm just afraid I'm going to be a failure.
I'm so afraid that I'm going to be a failure.
I think I might be a failure because
I think I might be a failure because of my life.
especially like the time when,
My divorce.
and I felt like a failure.
I felt like a failure.
During my divorce, is that accurate, or after
After
my divorce?
After my divorce.
I felt like a failure.
I felt like a failure.
I felt like a failure because
I felt like a failure because all my beliefs were contrary to that,
to having a divorce.
to having the divorce.
So all of my beliefs
All my beliefs
were contrary
contrary
to having a divorce.
to having a divorce.
And I felt like a failure.
And I felt like a failure.
I still feel like a failure, is that true?
I still feel like a failure.
I still feel like a failure
I still feel like a failure.
because I had to get a divorce.
That I had to get a divorce.
And I feel like a failure.
I feel like a failure.
I feel like it's against all of my beliefs.
I feel like it's against all my beliefs.
My beliefs that are once you get married,
Once you get married,
you
stay together
forever.
forever, and doesn't make me a good moral person.
So I'm not a good moral person.
I'm not a good moral
Because I had to get a divorce.
because I had to get a divorce.
And I'm taking 100% of the responsibility
I'm taking 100% of all the responsibility
of my marriage failing
of my marriage failing
and needing to get a divorce.
and needing to get a divorce.
I'm taking 100% of that responsibility
I'm taking 100% of that responsibility
because
of wrong teaching,
of wrong teaching.
of wrong teaching.
And what I mean by that is,
What I mean by that is my spirituality, and I struggle a lot with that.
that I shouldn't be getting divorced.
I shouldn't get a divorce. I should have been more faithful.
I should have been more faithful,
I should have been more faithful, prayed more,
and I wasn't.
and I wasn't.
And that makes me feel,
Like a failure.
I feel like a failure.
Feel like a failure.
I feel like a failure.
Feel like a failure.
I wonder if maybe,
I wonder if maybe,
that's okay, that I did the very best I could
that I did the very best that I could
with the tools I had.
with the tools I had.
Does that feel true or no?
Yes.
I did the best I could
I did the best I could
with the tools I had,
with the tools I had,
and there was 2 of us involved in this marriage,
and there was 2 of us involved in this marriage.
but I'm taking 100% of the responsibility.
And I am taking 100% of that responsibility.
I wonder if I could release some of that responsibility.
I'm wondering if I can release some of that responsibility.
I choose to release some of that responsibility.
I choose to release some of that responsibility.
I choose to release it and let it go
I choose to release it and let it go.
in every cell of my body,
In every cell of my body,
every fiber of my being.
every fiber of my being.
I choose to release it and let it go.
I choose to release it and let it go.
What a relief.
What a relief.
What a relief.
What a relief.
Relief.
What a relief.
Good job. How are you doing? You get more tissue. Help yourself.
I'll just wipe right now.
You're doing great.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna take a wild guess that it went up above a 6, is that right?
When we started tapping, and then.
It started at 6 and then it went up higher,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so what is it now? Can you feel what it is now?
I really feel like the knot in my chest is released. I will say closer to a 5.
Okay, so it went up and then back down.
Yeah, it went probably to 20, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to even admit any of that, but then as we were walking through just emotions and actually words that I had to place with it, it made so much more sense. The subconscious of what I beat myself up with, the thoughts, and
Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. We're gonna do some more. Take a breath. Take a breath. But I want to welcome.
Just one thing, Eric.
Sure.
I just want to say your vulnerability is really beautiful, and that you're doing that is allowing me to let go of a lot of stuff. So, thank you.
And here comes the light. I know how that is.
And I was divorced in 2015. Same date.
See, I told you. That's what happens in this group.
2011.
All right, cool. Let's just do a little bit more and see what happens.
Okay. 2003 for me.
I won't say how long ago it's been.
We all feel you.
Okay, you're so bipolar alcoholic. Okay, anyway. All right, awesome. You're doing a great job. So let's just start again, and you guys just go ahead and tap along as well, because you never know what we're going to be releasing in this. And so let's just say, even though I still feel a little bit
I still feel a little bit,
across my shoulders, neck and shoulders, is that right?
neck and shoulders, actually the knot in my neck,
Not my neck. Thinking about being a failure
thinking about being a failure
in my marriage,
in my marriage,
and that's okay.
and that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel,
I completely accept how I feel,
even though
even though
I still feel a little bit
I still feel a little bit.
It's about a 3
It is a 3
in my neck
in my neck
when I think about being a failure
when I think about being a failure
in my marriage.
in my marriage,
And that's okay.
and that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel,
I completely accept how I feel,
even though I still feel that 3 in my neck
I still feel that 3 in my neck,
about being a failure in my marriage.
that being a failure in my marriage,
And that's okay.
and that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel.
I completely accept how I feel.
On your eyebrow, I still feel like a failure
I still feel like a failure
in my marriage
in my marriage
because I didn't try hard enough.
because I didn't try hard enough.
Does that feel accurate?
That feels accurate.
I feel like a failure in my marriage.
I feel like a failure in my marriage.
It's a 3
It is a 3
in my neck
in my neck
because I didn't try hard enough.
because I didn't try hard enough.
This failure feeling in my neck,
This failure feeling in my neck,
I didn't try hard enough.
that I didn't try hard enough.
If I would have tried harder,
If I tried harder,
what would have happened?
nothing.
But I thought if I tried harder,
I thought if I tried harder,
what would happen?
he would change.
I thought if I loved him enough,
I thought if I loved him enough,
he would change.
that he would change.
And I found out
And I found out I wasn't his choice.
and that makes me feel,
Worthless.
that makes me feel worthless.
And that makes me feel worthless.
Down deep,
Down deep.
it makes me feel worthless.
It makes me feel worthless.
It triggers that worthless button,
That triggers that worthless button,
that old worthless button.
that old worthless button.
I'm open to the possibility
I am open to the possibility
of feeling that worthless button,
of feeling that worthless button,
just allowing myself to feel that worthless feeling,
to feel that worthless feeling,
and just release it and let it go.
and to release it and let it go
In every cell of my body,
in every cell of my body,
every fiber of my being,
every fiber of my being.
choose to release it and let it go now.
I choose to release it and let it go now.
Relief.
What a relief.
Relief.
What a relief.
It is gone for you now. Okay, and did it come up somewhere else?
My heart.
Okay. What we would do if we were working together, one-on-one, we would go as deep as we needed to go. But for the purposes of here, we're probably not gonna go that deep, but we are just gonna take a little bit. We're just gonna do another round and see what we can do. Just one.
That's okay. Sorry.
Don't apologize.
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're doing really great, Brenna. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and being here and doing this.
Don't be
But-
sorry. I know it.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And so I want you to just start here and say, even though
Even though
I feel it in my heart
I feel it in my heart
and I wanna stop,
and I want to stop,
I don't wanna do this anymore
I don't want to do this anymore.
in front of everybody,
In front of everybody.
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel,
Completely accept how I feel.
even though I can do this
I can do this
sometime,
sometime.
but I don't wanna do any more right now.
I don't want to do any more right now.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel,
I completely accept how I feel.
even though
Even though
I feel it in my heart,
I feel it in my heart.
and I can do some more later,
I can do some more later.
and I can keep myself safe
And I keep myself safe
and feel calm and relaxed,
and feel calm and relaxed.
even though
Even though,
I don't want to do this.
even though I still don't want to do this,
I feel it in my heart,
I feel it in my heart.
but I don't want to go any deeper right now,
And I don't want to go any deeper right now.
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
I completely accept how I feel.
I completely accept how I feel.
I feel it in my heart,
I feel it in my heart.
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
I don't want to go any deeper right now,
And I don't want to go any deeper right
but
now.
I choose to feel calm and relaxed.
I choose to be calm and relaxed.
choose to feel calm and relaxed.
I choose to feel calm and relaxed.
I choose to feel calm and relaxed.
I choose to be calm and relaxed.
What a relief.
What a relief.
What a relief.
What a relief.
Good. Very good. I
Very
can
good.
tell by the look on your face, you look a little bit.
Very relaxed, actually.
Excellent.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So what's going on in your neck? Anything?
Nothing, nothing. In my
Good.
heart, it feels relaxed. I just feel a sense of peace. And there was no, I felt safe when we said that I could be safe. I grabbed a hold of that, and so I felt that, yeah.
Because you can feel safe
Yes.
anytime. I don't have to be tapping with you.
And I only, my hands sweat only 2. From a 10 to 2.
And a hand sweat. There you go. Excellent. So can you tell us, what kind of aha you had from doing that today?
How buried emotions can get, and how a lot of blocks can come up that we protect yourself to not even want to own that. I made a conscious decision to be divorced because it was a healthy thing, but subconsciously I battle with that thought all the time, and I never gave a voice to it. It eats me alive. It stops me from a lot of different things, and ultimately going back to the fact that I really caused my worthiness, or how much I'm worth, because of the divorce. That I wasn't a choice for him. And that saddens my heart, so that's the reason why my heart was aching a little bit. But it was really cool to see how it all connected together. Like, when I wake up and say I'm upset, don't understand what the upset part is, and just to kind of see how it mapped all together. And
So quickly.
Yeah.
We did it, what, 20 minutes?
was it that?
Maybe. I don't even think it was 20 minutes.
I don't know.
But it had all just started coming up. And so I think we know what some of the homework is. And then I can help you with that.
Okay.
So that you can do some homework on your own
Yeah.
too. So awesome. Thank you very much for doing this. You guys, is this awesome?
Yes.